Hello everyone, welcome back to Java Basics. I'm Sanjay. In this video, let's try to understand what are literals. Okay, so a literal is a constant value which can be assigned to a variable. Okay, so you know how to declare a variable. So once you declare a variable, you assign some value to it after equal sign, right? So that value is known as a literal. So a literal can be of integers or floating point numbers or characters or strings or boolean. Okay, now let's try to look into each literals. Okay, so the first one is integral value. There are four types of integral values. That could be decimal, which is in the form of base 10 and it accepts values from 0 to 9. Octal, it's a base 8 which accepts 0 to 7 digits and it has a prefix 0. Hexadecimal, again it's a base 16 form and it accepts 0 to 9 digits and alphabets A to F, and it has a prefix 0x. Okay, and binary, we know that it's a base 2 system and it accepts value either 0 or 1 and it has a prefix 0b or 0 capital B. Okay, now let's quickly jump into Eclipse and try to understand the integral literals. Okay, now let me create a class. I'll name it as literals and make use of main method. So let me declare a decimal form integer. So int x equals, so as we know it accepts digits from 0 to 9, so I'll give the value as 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4 is the literal or the value of the variable x or identifier x. Okay, let me declare another variable y. Okay, this time we'll be making use of octadecimal. So we know that octadecimal should start with 0 and between number 1 to 7. So I'll give it as 1 2 3 and integer z equals, so now let me have declared a variable z and I'll try to assign a hexadecimal value. Okay, for a hexadecimal value it should start with 0 x and followed by either the numbers from 0 to 9 or alphabets A to F. So let's make use of 1 2. Okay, and at last we have binary. So binary should have 0, the prefix should be 0b followed by either 1 or 0. So 0 1 1 0 0. Okay, so now let me print. Okay, and one more point to note. So we know that anyway this is a decimal form, so it prints in Java prints the values in decimal format, but since we have z equals in octal number, so whenever we are trying to print an octal number or hexadecimal number or a binary numbers, it usually converts the values into decimal format and it displays the value in the decimal form. Okay, so now when I try to run this, okay, so we got the value. So first in decimal form 1 2 3 4, it is as printed as it is. Y equals 0 1 2 3 4, the value is 83. Okay, let's see how the calculation is done. So let me start from the right hand side of the number. So that is 3 into, so since it's an octal number, so it should be 8 to the power of 0. 8 to the power of 0 is 1 plus, now the next number is 2 into 8 to the power of 1, so that will be 8, and the next number is 1 into 8 to the power of 2. So 8 to the power of 2 is 64, and the last number is 0 into 8 to the power of 3. So 0 into 8 to the power of 3 is anyway 0. Let's keep it as 0, and now it will be 3 plus 16 plus 64. Okay, I believe the value should be 83. Okay, this is how it is calculated. So we got the result 83. Now we have hexadecimal, so it should be okay, since it's a base 16 format. So starting from right hand side number 12, so 2 into 16 to the power of 0 is 1 plus 1 into 16 to the power of 1, that will be 16. So if we add this number 16 plus 2, that will be 18. Okay, so now we have base 2 format. So starting from right hand side, so we have 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so starting from right hand side, so it will be 0 into 2 to the power of 0, that will be 1, plus 0 into 2 to the power of 1, so into 2, plus 1 into 2 to the power of 2, that will be 4, plus again 1 into 2 to the power of 3, so 2 to the power of 3 is 8, plus next we have 0 into 2 to the power of 4, so that will be 16. So 0 into 1 is 0, plus 2 into 0 is 0 again, 4 into 1 is 4, plus 8 into 1 is 8. Okay, plus 0 into 16 is 0. So the final value what we get is 4 plus 8, that is 12. Okay, this is how the calculation is done. Hope it's clear. Okay, now let's look at floating point literals. Okay, so what are floating points? So floating points are, numbers which has decimal points in it. Okay, so the first point says floating point literals are by default of type double. Yes, it's true, because let's take an example. Let me declare a variable f equals 1 2 3 points 5 6 7 8. Okay, now you see that it shows an compilation error. It says that cannot convert from double to float. Okay, so whenever we declare a variable of type float, okay, by default it always considers it as the value as double. Okay, so what we need to do is to overcome this, so should always suffix the value with f. Okay, now the error is gone. So whenever there is a suffix f with the value, okay, Java comes to know that okay, it's a floating point number, right? And the second point says that cannot assign octal hexabinary values to floating point integral. Just make a note that for integral we saw that we could assign values, octal hexabinary values, okay, to integer variable, but that's not possible for a variable of floating point data type. Okay, hope it's clear. Now let's look at the next literal is character literal. So there are four character literals. So that is single quote, char as integral, escape sequence, and Unicode. Okay, let's first look at single quote. Let me take an example. Let me declare a variable ch equals within single quote printing x. So this is the basic way of declaring a character variable, right? So whenever we think of declaring and initializing a character variable, we know that the value of the variable should be enclosed with a single quote. Okay, Now let me take char as integral. So let me take an example. ch1 equals maybe 101. So you might be wondering, so why I'm entering integer value for the character, but still in Java it is acceptable because this is the ASCII code of a particular character. Okay, so when I try to print this, okay, so let me see what character do we get. So we get E. So for this ASCII code 101, the associated character is E. So similarly you can try out, I think there are several ASCII codes which prints certain characters. Okay, and next is escape sequence. We have several escape sequence in Java. Hope you are aware of that. Okay, let me take one or two examples. So let me declare a variable ch3 of type char, and within single quote \n. Let me make use of print statement and try to print it. So let me type the string. This is a Java. Okay, I'll make use of the escape sequence, which is defined with the variable ch3. I'll say this is a Java class. Okay, let it be. This is sufficient. So when I print this, you see that this is a Java, okay, and the class is printed in the next line. So if I make use of T, so let me see how it prints. So this is a tab sequence. So you see there is a gap, which it looks like there is a, you have made use of tab. I think I've given too much of space. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, and the next is Unicode. So to declare a Unicode, so let me make use of ch4 variable, and this is the format /u Unicode, and with some value. Let me take it as 78. Okay, let me see what does it print. So that is the Unicode, and Unicode is associated with some character to it. Okay, so when I type when I print this, I get X. So the Unicode 0078 is associated with character X. So 0078 is an hexadecimal number. Okay, so you can also type numbers like maybe let me take 79. Let me see what does it print. So it prints Y. Okay, so /u and the next four digits represent the hexadecimal format. Okay, and that's it for character. Now let's look at Boolean, and the last one what we have is Boolean, and it's of two types. So Boolean has two values, either true or false. Let me take an example. Boolean b1 equals true. Okay, Boolean b2 equals false. Okay, so this is how you represent a Boolean variable. So okay, let me print it, but anyway it prints whatever the value that we have assigned to it. So when I run this, so we get true or false. Okay, so you know that Boolean is mainly used to evaluate a particular condition, whether it is true or false. Okay, so these are some of the literals, and you got some info on the various literals that are used in Java. Okay, one more point I just missed out to mention about string literals, right? So there is one more literal string, so we totally missed out. So let me take an example: string, the data type, and the variable name, and this the value of this string. Okay, so if you see here, this is the variable name, and this is the string value, and or the string literal, and it is always enclosed with double quotes. So make a note: character is always enclosed with single quote, and string is always enclosed with double quotes. So these are string literals.